Hello, everyone. So today we are going to be doing a new moon ritual for the new moon on February 11th. It is a new moon in Aquarius, and I'm so excited. I have recorded this ritual for you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not able to attend it live, but we're going to do most of the same stuff that we've done for the past two rituals. Which is some journaling, some meditating, some tarot card pulling, all the good stuff. So before we begin, I just want everyone to make sure that they have like a journal or just a pen and paper to write with, whatever you need. If you want to work with any crystals, you can get some of those now, or any type of, if you want to bring your tarot cards or anything like that in, just anything that you need, go get that now. Okay, so let's all just take a nice deep breath in and let it out the mouth for a nice clearing breath before we get started. This new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, and it's again on February 11th, 2021. So I'm really excited for what this new moon has to offer. And the point of these like rituals and circles is to kind of gather your thoughts and your ideas and write them down, get yourself motivated so that for this next moon cycle, we've got these intentions that we can focus on. So just real quick, what is a new moon? Basically, it's the start of a lunar calendar. When we experience a full moon, it's typically total darkness in the sky. It's when the moon is between the earth and the sun, so we cannot see it at all. It is also the beginning of a new personal cycle. So like I said before, this is really the time to write down any of our intentions, anything that we want to call in or do over the next few weeks, over this next moon cycle, and get us situated so that we can propel our energy towards achieving those goals. The new moon's effect. So the moon has an effect on our bodies. If you think about it, it has this gravitational pull that affects the elements, especially, with like the tides and the ocean and the water and everything like that. And our bodies are 70% water. So the moon actually affects our bodies, both physiologically and like psychologically as well. So it can affect your mood, your health. It can also affect your sleep. Researchers have found that blood pressure and heart rate are actually lower during new moons, which is pretty cool. They can help accelerate hair growth, make weight loss easier, can increase your sex drive. It's really the moon in general's effect on our body is really quite amazing, and the new moon in particular is the one that we're working with today. So this new moon in Aquarius is very much a mental based moon. That saying, you're in your head is going to be very prevalent right now. We're not going to be feeling too much in our bodies, but more of like that thinking energy. And a new moon in Aquarius is pretty cool because Aquarius is known for friendship, brotherhood, group activities, and projects, as well as like anything humanitarian based. So any type of new beginnings around these types of matters are going to be very likely right now. The number 11, which it's on February 11th, is a very symbolic number in numerology. It's kind of considered a portal. So to have this like portal opened on the new moon day is pretty incredible. Astrologically speaking, there's also 6 planets total that are in the sign of Aquarius. So this is pretty impressive. We've got Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, the sun, and the moon all in the sign of Aquarius. This is considered like an astrological breakthrough. It's not very common for this to happen, so it's pretty cool. And it's also a time of detachment from drama and disconnecting from all of the craziness that we've been experiencing. So this new moon in Aquarius, what I really love about this is that like it's encouraging connection. And if you think about 2020 and COVID and everything that's been going on, we've been isolated for so long. This new moon is really telling us, okay, now it's time to come together and be together as a whole community. But remember that COVID is not over. So try to connect within reason. This could be reaching out to friends and family, sending messages, cards, letters, scheduling Zoom meetings with loved ones, things like that. We always want to make sure that we're still being safe. And this focuses on community and how you can find your place in the world in connection with others. So it's encouraging us to think outside the box for these answers. Like I said before, it's very mental. So we really are going to be thinking a lot this new moon. It also encourages us to learn new things and try something new. You might have some urges to like learn something or try something, and that's definitely with this shift in the moon cycle. Pay attention to any distracting habits or destructive behaviors that could be holding you back. So, this Aquarius energy is giving us a chance to make progressive changes in our lives. We just want to make sure that we're not being too impulsive. Um, and we all know that we have these patterns that can be more destructive than progressive in our lives. So, trying to understand those habits and disconnect from them. This new moon encourages us to look at the future with a new positive and hopeful outlook, something that we haven't really had in the last year or so. So that's pretty cool. And it's focusing on extending help where you can, but also getting really comfortable receiving support when you need it. So a lot of times we're really good at giving, but we're not good at receiving in the sense that maybe we feel guilty or we feel like we owe someone because they helped us out, things like that. So we want to get rid of those types of energies and those lower vibrational thoughts and just be grateful for the help that we receive when we need it, and leave it at that. So some actions to take for this new moon if you really want to bring on its energy are, first one is to express love. So we talked about how Aquarius is really powerful with like brotherhood. So this could be love that's romantic. It could also be platonic love. It can be love for yourself or love for just like people and things around you, and thinking about how we express that. So how do you go about your life showing that like you embody love and you are love and you can give that love to others? Another action to take is provide support. So what we just kind of talked about with we're really good at giving, using whatever skills that you might have, use those to help others around you. So maybe you could volunteer in your community or you could help a friend in need. We all have, these unique skills. Some people love to cook, some people love to make things. If you are into knitting, you could knit someone a hat, or donate a hat to someone in need, things like that. If you love to cook, you could make someone a good meal. So just like how can you provide support in your community? And the last action to take is try and learn something new. So you could take classes, you could do something that you've never done before, maybe like ice skating, something along those lines. But now is really the time to learn a new skill or find out how to do something, or maybe how something or someone works. So if something's been puzzling you, you can do a little bit of research. If you're trying to figure someone out, look into their astrology, look into their birth chart, things like that. You can also take classes on topics that interest you. I'm a big fan of the website Udemy. They have tons of classes for relatively cheap prices that you can learn, a new skill. YouTube is also great. It's free. You can watch DIY tutorials on different projects, things like that. We're getting into springtime, so looking into like gardening if you like to grow your own food, or how to maybe set up like a hydroponic garden, something like that, something new for you that you're interested in. So now we're going to go ahead and kind of get into like the ritual part. So I just kind of told you a little bit about what to expect from this new moon, but in order to really connect with it, we want to actively do something. So today we're going to do a little bit of a reflection, and then we're going to do a tarot card draw. We're going to journal about what we've learned, how we're feeling, all this good stuff, and then we're going to meditate. And I do have my sound bowls again, so I'll play one of those for a few minutes while we're meditating. And at this time, I just want you, if you didn't already get it in the beginning, to make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pen or a journal or something. If you're going to get crystals, I have a few right here that I will share with you that are good for Aquarius season. So we've got some aquamarine, which is lovely, which is right here. Sorry. We've got some amethyst crystals. These are really good for helping out with your intuition. I've got a couple in my hand right here. Beautiful purple color. We've got some moonstone, which is one of my favorites. We also have a clear quartz. Clear quartz is great anytime you are manifesting because it just helps push those ideas and those intentions into action. It really just amplifies it. That clear quartz is an amplifying crystal. What else do I have? I have some labradorite, which is right here. It's pretty cool. It's very rainbowy. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's very rainbowy in person. So there's lots of different options. You can, there's some other good stones are like turquoise or garnet. All of these good ones, I think. Let me see. Yeah, another one is rhodonite. Rhodonite. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is what it looks like. It's right here. This is another Aquarius specific stone. So if you have any of these, you can take them out. If you don't have them, that's okay. I usually like to just pick one to work with, which I'm really feeling called to the amethyst. So I'm going to keep those right next to my journal while I do that. And now I hope everyone has kind of got what they need while I was stalling with the crystals. So let's just go ahead and take a couple of cleansing breaths. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold it for a second or two, and then let it out through our mouth. We'll do that about 3 times. So breathe in through your nose, just hold it for a sec, and then let it out your mouth. When you let out this energy, we're kind of clearing any stagnant, anything that's going on. So we'll do it 2 more times. All right, so now that we have cleared our energy, cleared our space, we are ready to get into it. So the first thing I want to do is just this little reflection. We've got these questions here that kind of help us just reflect on the last couple of weeks and reflect on what this moon cycle could mean to us. If you want to journal while I'm going over these questions, feel free to do so, but we will have specific time to journal in a little bit. So we talked about Aquarius, that brotherhood, that connection. It's so important right now. Isolation is not good for the human psyche. It's not good for health. There's been plenty of research studies on this. So people who have gone through traumatic injuries, anyone who's gone through like a heart attack or a stroke, we heal so much better when we have social support, whether that's a significant other, friends, family. It doesn't matter how they're connected to you. It just matters that you have people that are connected to you. So the first thing I want to reflect on is how can you show up for your community during this time? Think about ways, I said we all have these unique skills. How can you show up for your community? Can you volunteer your time? Can you make things for others? Can you maybe donate money or whatever it is to those that are around you? Maybe it's just showing up for friends when you say you're going to, instead of, putting your pajamas on and not showing up or bailing on someone. Just little things like that. The next one is, what can you do to connect with those around you in a safe way? Are there people in your life that you haven't reached out to in a while? So like I said, we still want to be safe with COVID. We're not going out and having grand parties, but if you haven't called your grandma in a while, maybe call your grandma or your mom, or set up a Zoom meeting with some friends and have a little happy hour. Can even do Zoom workout classes with, the people that you are used to being active with. However, you can connect with those around you or people who you might have kind of put on the back burner with all of everything that's going on. Connect with those people and reach out to them and see how you guys can connect in a way that's still safe with COVID. All right, so the next one is, what emotions are coming up for you? How can you free yourself from fear, anger, and jealousy? I briefly talked about the word detachment before. So just Aquarius energy is about detaching from anything that's really not serving us. And we want to know, like, how can you embody detachment in a healthy and productive way? So detachment's a tricky word. You want to detach from any like self-sabotaging emotions or any unhealthy habits. But when we detach too much, we actually can end up self-isolating. So we want to avoid that, but we want to detach from more of those like negative, lower vibrational energies that are in our life. And the last thing to reflect on is, what is something new that you've been wanting to learn? Even better if it's beneficial for the collective. So I kind of talked about gardening before. I think that growing your own food is going to become really popular in the next few months, especially with what's going on astrologically and kind of the shifts that we're seeing in the world towards actually caring about the environment and being proactive about our health. So something like that, like learning how to garden for yourself, or maybe you're interested in recycling better or having minimal waste. These are all things that are better for the collective, better for the earth in general. There's plenty of skills out there that can benefit other people. So learning those skills is going to be really a good way to embody this Aquarius energy that's all about like learning new things, but also how can we use all of our knowledge and our skills to better the community around us and the earth and human race in general as a whole. So now that we've kind of reflected a little bit, let's go into this tarot card reading. So I like to work with, for the moon cycles, I like to work with this deck called the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. You can see that it's by Kim Krams. And I just think that the illustrations are so beautiful. And I love working with the animals because it's kind of like, all right, what animal energy do we need to embody this moon cycle to really achieve, our goals? So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a shuffle. And again, if you feel called to write anything down in your journal, feel free to do so. I will make sure that I read the description out to you. And I'll read it a few times so that we can all, if you want to write it down or write any notes on it, you can do that. All right. So this month's card is the Unicorn. Ooh. So if you can see that, I'm just holding it up so you guys can see the illustration. We've got this beautiful unicorn with, like, it looks like the moon in the background. And the unicorn, see if I can find it in here. Here we go. Stands for reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. It is difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago. The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is, We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power, and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day to day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for the answers. So, this is lovely. The unicorn correlates to the sixth chakra, which is the third eye chakra. This is the exact place from where the unicorn's horn extends. So, if you think about like the center of the forehead, it's the command center, and it's believed to be responsible for our intellect, our intuition, and our deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and present, while the third eye peers into the future. So this is a lovely card because I think it goes so well with this Aquarius New Moon. We kind of talked about how with the new moon, we are looking for like a hopeful future. It's kind of this shift in our mindset of saying, okay, we've gone through 2020, we're moving on and things are looking up, they're looking hopeful. So kind of like peering into that future in a hopeful, positive way, which the unicorn talks about with the third eye, which is really cool. And then we've got this like waking up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. So we talked about, community and learning something new. And all of these are ways to kind of express your intuition or your passions. I love the word intuition, and I love how everyone kind of has this little definition of their own intuition, which we'll kind of talk about when we journal. But this card is all about like focusing on your intuition and how can you trust what's next for you, and connecting with those around you and your environment in general, that like higher power, that divinity. So I think that's a really beautiful card that kind of pairs really well with the Aquarius New Moon. So I'll just show it one more time for those of you who didn't get to see it, but it's right here. And yeah, that's a really lovely tarot pull. So now we're going to get into journaling. This is probably my favorite part of these little ceremonies because you get to express yourself and everyone can do it in their own way. So I want you guys to just either, like I said, pull out your paper, turn to a new page in your journal. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have 2 different 5-minute journal sections. So I will set a timer, which I'm going to do right now on my phone. And as soon as I am finished talking, I'll press start and I'll let you guys know when we can begin. So the first thing that we're going to do is just kind of thinking about a few things. So I wrote down some prompts to consider, which is the first 3 bullets that is under the column that says think about. So the first one is, what unique talents do you have and where can you share those with the world? So I've said this a million times. We all have like these cool little skills that, something that we're good at. So let's figure out how we can use those skills and share it with our community. So that's the first prompt. Then I want you to consider like, who are your friends and how do they make you feel? With COVID, with this isolation, maybe you saw who your true friends were and the people showed up for you when you needed them and others didn't. But I just want everyone to kind of reflect on this and see like, who is your community? Who do you resonate with? Who do you hang out with that just makes you, feel so good and like lights your soul on fire versus who drains your energy and who do you feel, just tired and overwhelmed after you've left their company. And lastly, I just want us to consider, what has this past month taught you about who you want to be and who you don't want to be? We go through scenarios every single day where we get clear on, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to be like this, or this is who I want to be. I definitely want to embody this version of myself. So I just want you guys to write down a little bit what comes to mind when you hear these prompts. So I'm going to start the timer, and We can get started right now. There's about a minute left of this, just so you know. So start wrapping up your last few thoughts. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the second prompt, which, as promised, is about intuition. So we're going to spend another 5 minutes just writing down what intuition means to you. So maybe it's a feeling in your body. Maybe it's just like this knowing, but I want you to reflect on what can you do to tap into your intuition and trust it more fully. Excuse me. Are there any daily practices that you can adopt? What is your intuition telling you about your vision for the future? So I love this question because we talked about with Aquarius how it's kind of like that forward progressive thinking. And we all have intuition, whether you're in tune to it or not. But if you're here watching this video, you're probably pretty in tune with your intuition. So thinking about your future and thinking about what feels good for you. Um, this is a little bit different than what we normally do with new moons, and how we kind of manifest what we want to call in. But I really wanted to kind of change it up and just focus on what is your intuition telling you about your vision for the future. So not just what you should do or what society is telling you should do, or the goals you have for the month that are kind of all about like work, 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 but really what feels the best for you going forward, and what things can you do, what practices can you adopt, what habits can you develop, that are in line with your intuition. So I'm going to press play on the timer, and you guys can get started on that right now. Got about a minute and a half left, so start wrapping up your last few thoughts for this. Okay. All right. So I hope that was interesting for you guys to kind of write down and explore those journal prompts a little bit. If you feel like you didn't have enough time, you can always go back after this class and just journal, a little bit more. If you want to as well, you can do more of like the intention setting, if you feel called to do that. But again, it's, any type of new moon ritual is however you want it to be and whatever you feel called to do. So feel free to go off the beaten path and kind of do your own thing after this as well. So now we're going to move on to just like a little bit of a meditation. I do have, like I said, my sound bowl, so I will play that for you guys for a little bit. And then we'll be done. So if everyone could just sit in a comfortable position, I'll give you a couple of seconds to kind of get comfy. If you want to lie down and you have space to do that, you can do that as well. Place your hands in your lap with your palms facing up, or if you're laying down, just keep your palms up. That way you're calling in that good energy. And close your eyes. Begin to relax the muscles in your body. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. Release any energy that has been stagnant and that is no longer serving you. So I just want you to focus on your breathing. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just come back to your breath. If it helps, you can count your breaths in and out. Like I said, if any of those random thoughts kind of pop in, just acknowledge your thoughts, let them go, and return to your breath. So I'm going to start playing the sound bowl, and just keep breathing. Okay. So slowly start to move your fingers, maybe open your eyes slowly, wiggle your toes, try to get some blood flow going again. And if you were laying down, you can slowly seat yourself up. If you were seated, you can just relax a little bit, get comfortable. And I just want to say thank you all so much for watching this video and attending this new moon ritual. I really appreciate all of your guys' support. I hope you are feeling good and ready to tackle the next month ahead. If you are interested, you can go to my website, which is www.rootwellnessco.com. There is a free downloadable guide on there for just like how to work with the new moon. You can also reach out to me on Instagram if you have any questions or just want to connect. I'm happy to chat with anyone. But that's pretty much it. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you guys at a talk in the future. All right. Bye.